Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to the Fox Valley Voice, the only live YouTube talk show in the Fox Valley, talking about people and places and events that make this place such a fun place to live. That sound all right?
Great. Sounds like you know what you're doing.
Just making this stuff up as I go along. Joining me in the studio this morning, our co-host for today, to my left, your right, Miss Holly Deitchman. Mrs., I should say, right? Mm-hmm. And she is the executive director of the Batavia Chamber of Commerce. And she has graciously decided to spend some time with us today talking about what's going on in Batavia and whatever else is interesting in the area. So thank you for coming, Holly.
It's my pleasure. I love doing this kind of stuff. You know, I've been away from television for a while, and this is kind of bringing me right back. So I really appreciate the invitation and happy to spend my morning with you.
And since you are an old broadcasting pro, please feel free to give me any tips or techniques as we go.
Turn some dials and press some buttons.
Sure.
Right? I could do a quick little test of you right now if you'd like.
Okay.
No, kidding. I wouldn't do that to you. I wasn't a technical person there anyway, so.
No. So that's when I first became aware of you up there in Batavia was when you were still at BATV, Batavia Access Television. And this is just your 3 months ago, right? Mm-hmm. So it was announced in January, and then you transitioned in February.
Yep.
So let's just spend a minute. Oh, and by the way, if you're listening and watching on YouTube, you can interact with us. Probably the best place to do it is on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Fox Valley Voice. And if you have any questions or comments for Holly, that's the best way to do it, is just submit that there. And so BATV, you were the station manager.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So give me just a little bit of an idea of what you were doing at BATV as the station manager.
Well, it started off a little bit before that. I served as the volunteer treasurer of the board for BATV for just shy of 4 years. That was like my first real community gig, and how I started developing some of that.
Right, and I hate to interrupt you, but I have a feeling that you volunteered as the treasurer because of your professional background.
Right.
Which is?
We chatted about that a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny where you end up in life is often so different from where you started. And I'm actually a graduate of Eastern Michigan University, went to school for accounting, traveled all throughout the United States as an auditor for about 6 years right out of college, and ended up in Schaumburg as a regional manager for an auditing firm there. And just little steps along the way, I wanted to give back to my community. So had met Craig Fultos at Fultos Tonsorial Parlor, and he's a big fan of connecting people with community events or ways for them to contribute to the community. So I got a postcard in the mail for a free haircut from the Welcome Home packet that came to our door when we moved to Batavia 12 years ago. And so my husband was like, okay, we'll go down the barber shop. It's just walking distance from our house. Went in there, and first thing he sat and looked right at us. He's like, all right, you guys look smart. What do you do? And I said, I'm an accountant. Andrew, my husband, said, I'm an engineer. He's like, oh, great, perfect. We're about ready to put up a committee for the Donovan Bridge renovation. So you can help out with that and get on that citizen committee for that. And then he's like, Batavia Main Street is trying to reform their board of directors, and you could be the treasurer for them. Might be hard because they just lost all their money to their last treasurer, but, this would be a good idea for you to step in. I'm like, okay. So short time as the treasurer as Main Street was reforming, and then he approached me again and said, actually there's a really great organization in Batavia. It's their community television station. They really need a good treasurer. So I interviewed for that, and they chose someone else. Fine, whatever. And just keep my ears open for something else. And he called me about 3 months later and said, they made a mistake. I think you were a better candidate. Are you interested in re-interviewing for the position? I said, sure. So I came back on as the treasurer for BATV at that time, and served through some pretty tough times and reorganization of BATV, and decided that when the reorganization was going to happen, they were looking for somebody that was a little bit more financially savvy, could run a business, manage staff, and that type of thing. So I threw my name in the hat, and after a short period of interviews and time with them, I got hired on as a station manager. So very long answer to your very short question, but
that's fine. As long as we get the whole story, that's all I care about.
So then as a station manager, it was really managing a not-for-profit organization, running a small business that happened to be linked to a really strong community and great support from a board of directors. And like I said, I had a great technical staff, and with their support and assistance and the assistance of the board, we were able to grow and really come up with some new show ideas and target some audience that we thought we had been missing for a long time. So, BATV was, is a little over 30 years in its life so far, and I just hope that there is just some continued growth moving forward with them. So they're still looking for a station manager now. I know that they've been going through some interviews recently, and it's a great opportunity for somebody that's looking to really be a part of something strong and be a part of a growth of a small business. So
excellent. So BATV, you're there, and then all of a sudden, tell me about how this opportunity with the Batavia Chamber of Commerce came about, because you're just cruising along at BATV, right?
Yeah, and 5.5 years in, and really starting to see some of the fruits of our labor. It was a small staff, small budget, really, crazy hours and commitment from all of us trying to really put all muscle and brain into making that the best station that we could. And we're just really starting to see the upswing and growth on it, and kind of a little bit of cruise control. And I had in the 5.5 years plus 3.5 years on the board, had met many professionals within the community and civic leaders and business owners within the community. And this rumor started flying that Roger was thinking about retiring from the chamber, and
that's Roger Bryce.
Yeah, Roger Bryce. He was he served as the 8th executive director of the chamber, my predecessor. So I'm the 9th, and for 10 years he really righted the ship of the chamber, did a fabulous job. I was really surprised at the thought that he wouldn't be. There's these pillars within the community, the chamber being one of them, that the head of it really has, you really are kind of a steward of many things within the community. And it's interesting. It was surprising to me, because all my time in the community, I only knew the chamber to be Roger, and as a member of the chamber at BATV, we taped a lot of events that they put on, and you see him up on the podium, and that's just what you expect, And so I was surprised, and it was shocking to me to even hear that there was that opportunity. And some of the members of the board of directors of the chamber approached me and asked if I was interested. And it was, again, kind of like, go back home, talk to the husband, and what do you think? Is this, and it really was an opportunity that I didn't want to pass up. And so I fought for it, and I was just delighted when they offered me the position. So
excellent. Well, congratulations, of course.
Thank you.
So you said that some members of the board approached you, but were there still some other candidates that they considered?
Yeah, absolutely. There was quite an extensive process that was gone through by the board, really evaluating. I think they had ultimately, 7 great candidates that I was, lucky to be a part of, and the interview process was, very well done by the chamber, and I just hope that what I said impressed them in some way or another. And
I think it did.
no, thanks. Either that, or I just had my, found other ways to rise to the top. But there it was a great experience, and after not interviewing for a job for a long time, it was, it's kind of, how'd that go? I don't know. I went home and I'm like, eek.
I have to say that interviewing, like this kind of an interview, great. Interviewing for any kind of position, like one of my absolute least favorite things to do, because I think my problem personally is that I cannot find a way for my true self to come through during an interview. I turn into a monotonous robot whenever I sit down for an interview, because it's just, it's just me concentrating on what I'm trying to say. And so I all of a sudden start talking like this, and I'm just trying to come up with the right answer to your question. And then afterwards I leave and I'm just like, oh,
yeah,
they don't know anything about me.
And what I think was such a benefit to me in this one specific process was the fact that I did know the people that were interviewing.
So you're more comfortable.
There was already a developed rapport from business dealings that we had with each other. There were 4 people on the selection committee, and all of them I had some relationship with, whether them being a business owner and I had, maybe they sponsored programming on BATV, or so there was that already there. So I could walk in and say, hi, how are you today? It was so, oh my gosh, thank you so much for having me. And it kind of broke the ice a little bit, and I didn't have to be introduced like, I'm sorry, who are you? It was really a nice...
Yeah, you got to fast forward like past the first 5 chapters of the book.
Yeah.
Once you walked into the room, So that
didn't stop me. No,
you still told them everything.
I did, yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
And I'm a big believer now. I'm starting to learn, even in this advanced stage of life for me, that I'm still learning.
You mean the gray beard stage?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, you can still see. But I'm starting to learn that what you do matters a lot more than what you say, right? And so the fact that you've been so involved in the community, and you've had success, and you've helped an organization grow. That had to speak volumes for you as well. And
and it comes naturally. Like some people are just, it doesn't take effort for me, and I think that's why all of this, 12 years that I've been in Batavia, it was meant to be. When my husband and I were looking for our first home, we kind of traveled up and down the Fox River, from Elgin to Aurora, looking for a home. And
in a canoe?
No, but we have one. But we were just really trying to find the right spot. And in Batavia, the first thing that we looked at really was the school district, and we've learned now firsthand at the success and the growth that we've seen in our own children in Batavia. So it was just a natural fit. We fell in love with our home, and things just blossomed from there. And once you start having those conversations with people about giving back and really contributing to the community, once you start, it's almost like you're addicted. We talked a little bit before we started this morning about how I'm in the Rotary Club. And that was, thanks to the support of BATV and their want and desire to give back to the community, not only by their own services, but by their people as well. I became a Rotarian just shy of 4 years ago. And it's like it's an addiction, when you see that there's a need out there and you can rally, there's about 35 people in our Rotary Club now. Once you can get those people, whether it's from their talents, their skills, their brain, their wallet, whatever it may be, you have this pool of people, and then you start hearing, oh, there's this need over here at the food pantry or Lazarus House, or, it's like, I can figure that out. Go to the next meeting, which we meet every Tuesday morning. Yeah, this morning. And you just are like, all right, here's the problem, and I need you to help me solve it. And then hands are raised, and you just feel so good, you know. And once you start feeling that good about giving back to your community, you don't want to stop, and you're constantly looking at other opportunities. So
you guys are like the real life Justice League.
Yes, I would really like to have some type of a shield or sword or
a cape at the very minimum.
Well, I've got plenty of those. I got, 2 boys at home. But yeah, if I could wear one and not get pointed and laughed at, kind of like I did. We went to Star Wars night at the King County Cougars.
That's right.
Yeah, plenty of pictures on Facebook if you want to check that out. Princess Leia, and it happens.
You went as Princess Leia?
I did.
With the big bun hair on the side?
I did.
Oh,
kind of like these.
We might have to bring that up online and show everybody.
But it's, and you're right. There's so many service organizations that you can be a part of in our community, or in anyone's community, that once you get involved, there's no looking back.
Mm-hmm.
If your heart's into it, there's nothing that's going to stop you.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
So Rotary Club, keep an eye out for them running around town solving problems.
Yeah, dun dun dun. Or at the Loyalty Day parade, driving parade marshals, whatever.
How was that? We were unable to make it, but that was just this past
Sunday.
Right?
Yep, I was fortunate enough to be a judge this year, so I got to sit up on the viewing stand and watch the floats, and it was really a different perspective because all the floats, if you're in the wrong spot along the parade route, they could be taking a break and just marching. When they get to that viewing station, they're on it and doing the whole 9 yards. So it's interesting to get to see all of them perform specifically. I thought they were performing for me, but I guess the other judges too. But, it's interesting to see that. And what an amazing, there aren't too many communities that have and show that much pride in the military and recognizing such a patriotic way. And it's just amazing to see all the different groups there and marching and the bands and the businesses. It's just really cool.
Mm-hmm.
103 floats, I think, this year.
Nice.
So really cool.
So who was the big winner?
I don't know, and you're like the fifth person that's asked me that. We fill out and we give scores to everybody in each of the individual categories, and then they take them and tally them up later, and then choose the winner. I was a huge fan of 2, and I will. Actually 3, I'll give them props because not only am I fans of what they did in the parade, but in general in the community. Hicks Brothers Music, they blow it out of the park.
Absolutely.
With their, they do the electric guitar marching
band. Guitar band, yes.
And they all have these little, amps on their back, and they're just rocking it out. I think they played Kiss the Sky while they were, heading down. Uh-huh. So that was really cool. Another great record store in Batavia, Kiss the Sky. Mm-hmm. But,
ding.
Ding. So maybe we should do that every time we talk about a business. Have a little bell.
I have a bell upstairs.
There's one that's like boxing round something behind your outside the studio door there. But we, so that was really great. And that to me is so impressive. And they have droves of them. This is not like 5 people marching. You're talking little kids to old people that are marching together playing Kiss the Sky.
Now watch out. Peter's going to come after you for calling him an old person.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah. And just that's
you could probably
really
outrun
cool.
him though.
Yeah.
Yes, very cool. The marching guitar band.
So the marching guitar band loved that. So I gave them a little star next to their name. I also really like Batavia Academy of Dance. Ding. Ding. Annie Gayutsa is the director there and owner there, and couldn't speak higher of a woman talking about giving back and constantly out in the community. Just awesome. And her son was actually a volunteer for BATV. So, they're cultivating that in the youth as well. So loved them and their performance. And, they even had dogs with tutus on them. So, they went all out. That was awesome. The third one I would say is Davy Tree Service. Ding. Very cool. I love they had a beautiful truck that came through with, and the Kilroy was the theme this year. And so they had a big Kilroy poster on the back of the truck, which was really cool and recognizing that serviceman. So that was really cool. So I loved it. Again, just doing what we can.
All right. How was the weather for the parade?
There was overcast and dreary. Little few sprinkles here and there, but it's a good day. I had to put my winter coat on again, but
I'm about sick of that, aren't you?
oh, please, flip-flops.
I keep trying to tell myself not to complain too much because at least it's not negative 12.
True.
Like it was not too long ago.
Yeah.
And the fact that it gets up now into the 40s, we should be happy about that, right? But no.
No, but
it turns out
I think they're like threatening like 80 tomorrow, so we better watch out.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather sweat my butt off than freeze it off. I don't know about you, but
As long as it comes off, I don't care.
hey now. All right. So that was the Loyalty Day Parade.
Mm-hmm.
I meant to ask you, the fact you credited Craig Foltos
Mm-hmm.
for grabbing you and dragging you into community service.
Yep.
Saying that he just looked at you and said, hey, you look smart. What do you do? So is the fact that I've been in his place a few times now and he hasn't said anything to me, should I be worried about that?
Yeah, you might want to like carry a dictionary or something next time, so maybe he'll like think. I don't know. He just has a knack for connecting people, and it was a busy.
And he does a lot himself.
Yeah, and it was a busy Saturday that we were sitting in his chairs for a while. We didn't realize the dynamic of that place yet, so we just kind of sat there. And I think he was just trying to entertain us a little bit with conversation while we waited for my husband to get his free haircut. But again, giving back to the community. I mean, that guy does unbelievable, just volumes of redistribution of funds, whether that be through the Ronald McDonald House and his Chapter on the Clock, which is coming up. I think it's in June. But look for that. That's really a great opportunity.
Yes.
And he gives free haircuts, and you're supposed to donate the money back to the Ronald McDonald House. I mean, we're talking like hundreds of thousands of dollars he's raised over the years and that. And it's a lot of fun, too.
Sure. Just doing what he can, He cuts hair.
Yeah.
And somehow he manages to turn that into a big fundraising opportunity.
Yeah.
So.
And once a month, he even travels down to local Ronald McDonald House and gives free haircuts to the families that are there with their sick children. And, got to feel good.
Yeah.
There isn't a lot of great things happening in the world, so it's really nice every once in a while when you can make somebody smile from either a skill or donation or something.
Mm-hmm. And I'm a big fan of places that when you walk in, you just look around and you say, but they don't make places like this anymore. Uh-huh. And the Foltos Tonsorial Parlor is definitely one of those places.
It's not a cookie cutter.
No,
No.
That's old school.
That is the opposite of a cookie cutter type of a business. I mean, every day you can look in there. I've been in there 1,000 times probably, actually. We do Lunch with Joy every Wednesday there. So if you ever want to come down and listen to a couple of old farts talk about the community and what's happening, come on down to Foltos on a Wednesday at noon and have lunch with us, because sometimes the mayor will stop in and chat with us for a little bit, and sometimes it's just a local person that's looking for a job, and then we'll talk to them and coach them a little bit on things that are available, or sometimes we just shoot the breeze.
Lunch with Joy. Now, is that like affiliated with any particular organization, or is that just...
No, and there's no one named Joy, though Joy Quartero has come. I saw you.
Okay. Yeah.
It was actually pretty...
I had lunch with Joy on Saturday.
See, there you go. But not Joy. You had lunch with Joi.
Yes, that's correct.
Our lunch with Joy is supposed to be. It was founded kind of in the, the world isn't a great place. Let's at least meet for lunch once a week and make ourselves happy. So, sometimes we end up laughing and joking, and sometimes it's just getting stuff off our chest. So it's a really good time to get back to center.
Is there a cover charge for this event?
Nope. We always order from a local restaurant, and you just pitch in your $8 or whatever. And sometimes in the summer he just rolls his grill out back and barbecues up some burgers and dogs, and just whatever we feel like that day.
Are you going tomorrow?
Of course.
Okay. I might stop in.
Yeah. Have at it.
Lunch with Joy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What else can we talk about? We should probably get back to the chamber, eh?
Yeah.
So you started in February. You walk through the door. What happens on that first day?
Well, the first day was very overwhelming. I actually took a picture of my desk after my first day, and kind of I should have done a before picture, because to me, every business person has a different way of organizing themselves. I just haven't found mine yet. I take a lot of notes. So I have a big binder that I try to shove everything into different categories or committees or whatever. But my handwriting is terrible. So no matter if it's like beautiful paper on the middle of my desk, it still looks like garbage because, my chicken scratch. I don't have a great memory, so I do write everything down. And, when I'm in conversations with businesses, it's just like, okay, you do what again? Okay, yeah, I am paying attention and I really do care for you. I just will never remember this if I don't write it down.
We need to get you a recorder.
I should. Yeah, walk in every place I go and say, is it okay for me to record this conversation?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, kind of like,
or I'll just follow you around.
Customer service.
I could be your audio technician.
Thank you. Will you wear those headphones?
Absolutely.
Okay, great.
I might even get bigger ones.
Yeah. So that first day was, and the first month, really, even the first quarter that I've been there, is just figuring out what I'm supposed to be doing, honestly, because it is very overwhelming. A lot of it is just trying, I'm a multitasker's multitasker. You've got event planning to do. You have member retention to do. You have member growth to do. There's trying to educate myself on all of the businesses and services that are offered in our community. Analyzing the database of all of the members we have, members we've lost, prospective members, and trying to figure out where some of those gaps are and services that we can offer to the community through our membership. So it's varies all the time, and every day I walk in and it's something different, and that's what makes it so fun.
Yeah.
And I feel like a kid in a candy store because I'm learning, but it's so fun. I spent most of my afternoon yesterday at Prairie State Packaging in Batavia, and we're trying to figure out what the chamber can do to best serve them and their kind of category of businesses, kind of small independent manufacturer and producer. And they've, been in Batavia forever. Actually, the one of the managers or general manager there used to be a board president for the chamber. So he had a lot of insight to give. And that's what I enjoy so much, is going and kind of taking some pictures of what they're doing and the services they have to offer, and then learning about what they do so that maybe I can team them up with somebody else, and we talked in the conversation about the fact that, we've got other manufacturers that might be able to use their packaging design and product to help them ship some other things. So it's kind of like the more I learn about each business, the more opportunity they have for me to kind of merge them, pair them up, and partner them with other businesses. So that's what I spend a lot of my time on now, is learning about all of the different businesses. And there's, we have 283 members. So it's, ticking off a couple a week and just trying to learn as much as I can.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So it sounds like there's a lot of moving parts to this job.
There are, and I talked about this. Actually, we have our first newsletter coming out since I took the helm of the chamber. That's going to be coming out in the next week or two. Will be shipped out to all of our members. And I talked a little bit in my cover story in the newsletter about the fact that there's just, you read a job description and it's 30 lines of this, you're going to do this, and we need you to do this and this and this and this. And there's just so much, even on the paper, there's so much in between each of those lines that, you don't realize how much, all right, am I going to spend 10 minutes a day on this? Am I going to spend 10 days a month on this? Am I going to spend, it's kind of like figuring out all of those different pieces and parts of this job. And every director is going to do something different. We're all going to bring a little different flavor and feel to the chamber, and I just hope that what I bring to the table is what keeps our members happy and creates value for them and continues to bring them benefit.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So it seems as if you were the type of person that thrives on that kind of an environment, as far as all those different things to do, something different every day. It's not a position where you go in and just crank out widgets every day.
No, and I'm not a widget maker, and I think the closest thing I was ever to that was, as an auditor, because all day sitting, at a computer that was about, 4 times this size with a little remote printer that was, much bigger because this was, late 90s. But sitting at that desk, analyzing numbers all day, and taking and proofing, different reports.
I'm getting a headache just thinking about that.
And that was, a good 7 years of my life. And
did you go into that on purpose?
I did. Actually, naive.
Like when you were a little girl and you thought to yourself, one day I'm going to grow up and I'm going to audit books.
I actually wanted and this is not going to come as a surprise to so many people, but I liked money. I liked the idea of money. I liked cash in my hand. And I thought from the time I was a little girl until the time that I graduated from college, still, I had in my mind that I was going to be going places and I was going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like cash in my hand.
Just counting money.
Because there's something about cash that I like. So many people should be chuckling right now, but that, it's just kind of a cool
thing. But not in a greedy way.
Not at all. Just I liked it in my hands, and it didn't have to be my own, and it wasn't a 2 for you, 1 for me, 2 for you, 1 for me kind of thing.
Yeah,
that's bad.
That's bad.
They probably wouldn't want me to be a treasurer at that point, but but it was more of the idea of it, and I knew that that currency meant so much to, I don't know, to industry, to consumerism, everything within the world. So I liked that, and it's still to this day, I think back to those times, and I used to always think, all right, these numbers are somehow going to equate to dollar signs to somebody, and that's what always was going in the back of my mind. But yeah, that monotony and that desk job really, I was a different person then. Honestly, work was work. What I do now is not work. It is truly
it's like playtime,
joy.
Right?
Yeah. Like I said, I'm so entertained every day, whether it is, doing the analysis of some of our members and figure out who's been the longest time, who's been members the longest. We've had members since the 60s, and that to me is so cool. And I pick up the phone and I call them. I'm like, why? Why have you been writing a check for $300 a year, give or take, to the chamber for this long? And some people, it's just how we do.
What you do.
Yep. It's I'm the 3rd generation owner, and if I stopped, my grandfather would be mad. Seriously, those are the types of answers, and because some people do just invest in the chamber as a community organization and as a partner. They truly don't expect to get anything back besides the knowledge that there's a legitimate organization that is monitoring business and industry in our community.
But it seems like you could still try to find a way for them to get some value other than, well, we've always done it. That's not a good answer. You don't want to hear that answer.
No.
You want to hear, because we believe in what you do and we feel that there's value that we get out of it somehow. Yeah,
and that's the thing. And I always ask them, what could I do to make you involved that would encourage you to come out to a but they're not interested maybe in a networking event, an after hours cash bar, rubbing elbows with a bunch of newer business owners. Sometimes it's just the golf outing, that really draws people out that are more old-fashioned maybe in their view of what the chamber is. They, come and do an event like that and then don't think of the chamber for the rest of the year. It's kind of we try to offer, and, we'll talk a little bit more about what we have coming up. But Randy Hultgren, congressman, is coming to present to us on the 15th of May. And when things like that tends to bring some of them out because they want to hear bigger ideas about the state of the state or what's happening in Springfield or what things might impact their business. So hearing legislative type presentations often bring them out too. So that's why we kind of vary things up across the board so we can try to hit all those different types of businesses. Okay.
We don't want to run out of time. We do have some time left here, but let's start talking then about the chamber in terms of what you offer to the members.
Well, again, it's different for every member and what they want from the chamber, so we try to do a little bit of everything. Some of it is in advocacy, as we talked a little bit about. I work very closely with Joy Quartero from Batavia Main Street, who I know that you interviewed recently, and the city administrator and the economic development within the city, and we meet once a month just to talk about what's coming up, what are some things that are happening on a local level, specifically within our community, that may impact economic development, whether that be an increase in electric utility rates, whether that be some sign ordinance changes. Maybe it's a new manufacturer that is kind of sniffing around the area that might be coming in, just, things like that. So advocacy is really important. So I analyze that and I take it back to my legislative committee and I share with them what I understands happening, and then they dig deeper into it. So their kind of task and mission is to take on some of those local, state, and national issues that might impact business, even within our membership. So advocacy is part of it. The events are good in order to, again, not only through me connecting people, but if you own a business, you working on that and connecting yourself with other people and businesses. So we do a once a month networking it event, we call it. And again, there's a committee that strives to make those events as best as they can be. We actually have one coming up at Funway on May 21st from 5 until 7. And we're actually going to do a bowling challenge. It will be the inaugural bowling chamber classic bowling competition, and hence the bowling pin, and plus I'm kind of a nerdy bowler myself, but that is coming up on the 21st, and if I win it, I'm totally taking the trophy. I'm not one of those people that just goes, I'm just here to organize the event. I'm going to be there with my ball and my shoes and my towel from the state tournament, trying to win that, because I'm not afraid. But bring it. Yeah. So on the 21st, that'll be at Funway, and Bob Hansen is a long-time huge supporter of the chamber and always comes up with some fun events for us. So that's a good one. So there's those opportunities for some people to take the initiative themselves to go out and outreach and meet new businesses. There's the educational aspect. We also are in development process now of creating kind of a chamber university, which would be an in-depth, probably on the topic of growth strategy and business strategies and marketing plans for small and mid-sized businesses, so that we can get a professional speaker in that will come in, train them over a couple of months, maybe once a week, kind of a seminar series. So we do a lot of educational things that will help with small, mid-sized, and large businesses. So that's an important thing. A lot of communication. So we do a quarterly newsletter. We do bi-weekly update and kind of a blog type of a format. We do as much as we can to communicate to our members the things that are happening and things that might be impacting small business. We also do a lot of marketing for our businesses. So whether that through, we have our newsletter, so some of our premier partners, we have their logos on there. We give them opportunities to advertise, like this is a community profile and map. So we have, some local businesses that we're able to, invest in this community map. But we do a lot to try to help them to advertise themselves, not only just in the membership, but also outside of and within our community. So those kind of the main points of it is, networking and partnering, also helping businesses to connect. We have a business directory on our website. So if somebody's looking for a professional service or retail or restaurant, lodging, anything like that, they can come to our website and search on it, and our database of members can kind of a good housekeeping seal for a lot of local businesses, or at least implied. So they go there for a plumber, So Jamie Sam, I know she was with, so she's from Bulldog Plumbing. Ding! Ding! And so it's businesses like that, and we try to do what we can in order to get the word out about them, and then we also have community partnerships. So we work a lot with the Park District, the school district, whenever we can, library, Main Street, in putting together some great community events and trying to bring people to Batavia to then ultimately solicit some of our local businesses. So.
And I got to hand it to the community of Batavia. There is pretty much every weekend something going on as far as festivals and parades and parties and, restaurants and... Yeah. There's a lot of stuff going on down there.
Yeah, and, we try to be a part of that as much as we can, because we do want to give our local businesses opportunities to be within that. We don't want to go out to big name, big box things outside of our community to sponsor our events. We go right to the local businesses and give them that opportunity. So with the Windmill City Fest, we partner with the Park District to make that happen. And we have a long history within the Windmill City Festival, which started off as Boo Boo Days, and that was a start from the chamber in our long history. But so that was
Boo Boo Days.
Boo Boo Days, yeah. And they actually used to bring their kind of like discounted merchandise out from their stores and put it out on the street, and it was called Boo Boo Days. So their Boo Boos were their kind of...
They call it open box nowadays.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
I think I prefer Boo Boo Days.
Yeah, so Boo Boo Days. So, and that house somehow evolved over the last 50 to 60 years into the Windmill City Festival. And so we coordinate all the food vendors for the festival, and so we try to get as many local restaurants as involved as we possibly can, and it's a great opportunity for them to do that. And then, we just partnered again with the Park District to take over the chili cook-off. So we're looking for judges. We need 30 people to judge chili because they do it in a couple of different flights. And so once your palate apparently gets... not burned, but you have to rotate people out throughout the time. So we're looking for judges. So anybody that's interested in eating some chili, then please let us know at the chamber.
Excellent. You mentioned Jamie Sam, and she is out there listening, and she has submitted a comment. She says, "Woo, Holly. Holly is rocking the chamber by proactively bringing in new business members." And her question is, are there any ribbon cuttings coming up for the new businesses on Randall Road?
Actually, I was just we just signed on a new member. Thanks, Jamie. We just signed on a new member, the Sears Appliance and Hardware Store. It's actually on Randall Road there at Wilson and Randall. They have a ribbon cutting coming up because they're kind of a grand reopening, and that's they haven't decided on a date yet. We're still coordinating that with the mayor, but it'll be the 16th or 17th of May, so that's coming up. And then we just did Hummingbird in a Shoebox, which was a super cute little store that's on Wilson and 31 or Batavia Avenue. So it was kind of a cool thing and a lot of fun. So that was my first one. We again, in between the lines of the job description, it was the fact that I am the official keeper of the
Of the
Mayer's ribbon cutting scissors. So my first day, what did I do my whole first day? Pretend that I was cutting a ribbon and, like chomping around the office, everything I could to see if they actually worked. Because
Okay.
I'm, really professional like that.
Well, you don't want to overdo it to the point where you dull the scissors.
No, but I am a butcher's daughter, so I could.
Oh, is that right?
I am. So I could hone those for you at any time, or take them to the farmer's market where they usually have a knife sharpening service, and they actually do scissors there as well. So
We're learning so much about you today.
oh my gosh, yeah, I am. I do come from a small business family. My dad owned a butcher shop when I was growing up. So
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Michigan. I lived in Taylor, Michigan for the first, and then my parents got divorced.
Wait, don't you have the
Oh, would you like me to do this?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I grew up in this area here,
Okay.
and then my parents divorced when I was 9. So then we moved to an island on the Detroit River. So it's actually in the gap here. Yeah, I grew up just south of Detroit, and a big fan of the D, and that's kind of what my upbringing is from. So we played a little rap music before we got started today, because it got me energized. But it's that's I could definitely help with the scissor sharpening.
Okay. You mentioned Joy Cortero, and she is chiming in as well. You better watch out who you talk about, because they're listening.
Yeah.
But Joy says, so happy to have you on board. Keep up the fabulous work you've been doing for the community. And her question is, what are some of the challenges you think we can work on together for our downtown businesses? Now, for those of you who may not be aware, Joy Cortero is the director of the Batavia Main Street organization, which is a separate organization.
Yep.
But somewhat similar in mission.
Mm-hmm. And we, Joy and I, work a lot together on just trying to figure out how we can help businesses be successful. So I think that's one of the challenges, is looking at each business in downtown and throughout Batavia at their unique qualities, and trying to help them not only what is successful in their business, but what are those challenges, and partner them up with someone that can help them to overcome those obstacles that they have, either for growth or success. And so those are the challenges that I think that we have, and just in general, getting more businesses downtown. There are empty storefronts. What can we do to entice them to come to our community? We have Gaetano's coming from Forest Park, I think. Had they're opening up their second restaurant, and that's
what's the timeline on that? Do we have any updates? I
believe that they want to put out food Joy and I talked about this, for the party in the park that's coming up in May, and so I think that they're at least going to be able to make food, and I think by I know that they're going to be participating in the farmers market and wanting to bring out some food for that this year. So I think it's around June, the 1st of June. So we have about another month. I know that it's just beautiful inside, and I cannot wait for the community to see it. And in my life at BATV, we had the opportunity to go there. Joy actually is co-host of a show called Out on the Town at BATV, and check the episodes of that out on YouTube. Really cool. And we got to go out to Gaetano's in their other Forest Park location and sample them, and kind of give people a little bit of an insight of what it was going to be like when they came to Batavia. So those are the exciting things, but there's still open spaces, and we need some retail that will bring people downtown, and it's just making some of that happen, I think, is a challenge at this point. And, there's also that kind of silo that businesses live in, where they don't necessarily walk down the street, knock on the door of their neighbor and say, hey, what do you guys do? And that's something that Joy and I talk about, is the fact that, if you're a salon owner and the dress shop, and I know, Joy does a great job of making events around specific types of businesses, so that they can kind of partner with each other and do like a fest or something together, and that's really cool. And those are the things that Joy really excels at, and I always give her a lot of credit for what she does and has done for this downtown.
Yeah, absolutely. That Easter egg hop that they put on was fantastic.
Yes,
wasn't it?
Yes,
and I know personally, and my family, we all attended, and we ended up going into several businesses that we've never even heard of before, which is partially our fault. It's that silo thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know where you're going, and you just go straight there, and then you go home.
Yeah.
It's not like you wander around and start looking for stuff.
And some of it is parking. Quite honestly, you might be driving down the street, and it's like, I want to go there, and there's one parking spot, and you're like, okay, I'm going to swing in there really quick and go and do my thing. You don't want to get back in your car and drive to the other side of the river or the other side of town because you don't know if you're going to find a parking spot. So, though parking is better than I think some perceive it to be, because there's these little kind of pocket parking lots, or at least a few spaces out around town. They need to be, I guess, some signage is necessary. And, we talked about that recently of what we can do in order to try to, make it clear that there's places to park.
Right. But, when people start complaining about parking, like, oh, it's too far away. Here's all you got to tell them. Have you ever asked them if they've ever been to a mall, right? So, think about it. You park and then you walk around for 5 hours at the mall.
Right.
So it's not going to kill you to park on one side of the river if you got to walk over the bridge to get to the other side of the river.
Right.
It's going to be a 3-minute walk.
Right. And the beautification of our downtown, it really helps with that as well. Though we're getting into river bug season right now, which makes it a little bit of a, nightmare walking through town. But, it's beautiful. Our downtown is beautiful. We have amenities there abound. If you don't come down to a summer concert series at the Peg Bond Center on the Riverwalk in the summer, you are missing out.
Missing out, absolutely.
And it is just awesome. And they're free. It showcases local bands. You get to, stop at Bulldog Red Hots, ding, and get a hot dog and bring a blanket and go and sit and watch a free local band. Those are the things that make our community so unique and awesome. And if you don't take advantage of them, shame on you.
Shame. If you're sitting at home watching some terrible reality karaoke music show on television instead of enjoying the people and events right there in your very own community, then
I want to slap their hands.
Yes.
And
you won't, because you're a real nice person, but you want to.
But on, our park district, what a gem. I am in love with the park district. We have the most amazing, whether you want to just go to your neighborhood park and kick a soccer ball around for the afternoon, or if you want to sign up for a program, open up their summer guide. Oh my Lord. You could, from young to old, from one-day things to all summer long activities and camps. Awesome.
And you've got the Quarry Beach there, and that's a fabulous facility.
Yep, and their season passes are on sale now, and just, gosh, hometown fun. It's what we're all about.
Absolutely.
And I think actually, the Neighbors magazine that is coming out right now has a lot of, I think I actually have mine with me, but, it's all about what you do, family fun for the summer, all kinds of ideas of what you can do, playing together, all the different, there's people that talk about what they do in Batavia in the summer, and they actually asked me, and there's a little blurb in there, and our perfect day is, we walk, because I live right by downtown. We walk downtown. We go to the farmer's market, ding, to the main street. The farmer's market, then we go to Limestone Coffee and Tea, ding. And then we walk from there to, somewhere just to hang out. There is just so much beauty in Batavia. And then, you just have a cup of coffee and sit around. And then, like I said, stop at one of the local restaurants, have some lunch, head home, take a nap, maybe stop at the skateboard park, and and then you head out to a Cougars game. Why wouldn't you? It's just like the perfect day right in our little community.
I have to say that my biggest challenge whenever I visit downtown Batavia is whether I'm going to go to the Batavia Creamery or to O Sole Mio.
Yeah.
And sometimes I can't choose, so we just do both.
Yeah, and that's...
Is that wrong?
No, absolutely not. Because one's gelato, which, is very, just amazing. Again, we did a out on the town there, and Jeff and Joy got to make their own gelato, and that was really cool, and seeing the process and handmade right there, and then you go to the creamery and they've got that cool outside kind of thing, and you're right on the river, and it's just, I don't know, it's so different but so fun.
How do I get involved in these shows that you guys do where you get to eat stuff for free?
Yeah.
Okay, where do I sign up?
I don't know, but boy, that was a smart idea that I came up with, that we would, go to all these places. We even got to bowl for free at Funway. We went, so it's out on the town. It was kind of like it's a date night inspired type of a show. So we got to, go to Funway, and we did laser tag and bowling for free. Batavia Academy of Dance, Jeff and Joy got to step in and do a dance lesson with them for free. It just, so much fun.
I want to do some of that stuff.
Yeah.
Joy says, by the way, Jamie and I will judge chili.
Awesome.
So you got 2 out of your 30 judges.
Yeah, actually I have 3, because Annie Gates of the Batavia Academy of Dance also has agreed. So we have 3. So we're 10%. Again, back to the numbers.
Always the accountant.
That's right.
We've got Stacy Barnett is checking in. She says, Holly, your fabulous red shirt looks great and matches your bowling pin and the stop sign.
Yes, it was all coordinated. He sent me a picture of a set before we started today. And
she's
so
very thorough.
Yeah.
Very thorough.
I'm surprised Stacy didn't say anything about my fabulous 80s hair. Stacy works for Kurt Hageman and Hageman Wealth Development, and their offices are located, chamber member, right across the hall from us in the old post office building, right at Wilson and Shumway. So we're office mates.
She does have a question for you. Stacy says, what has surprised you the most about your new position as the chamber executive director?
Biggest
surprise.
Gosh, there's so many surprises. I guess the biggest surprise is it's a pretty important position, and I didn't realize.
You're kind of a big deal, huh?
Not that at all. But or was that a fat joke?
No.
So, what I'm just surprised at how visible it is, and how it really is kind of important to be on top of your game, and that's kind of the biggest surprise to me, was how much people are invested in the success of the chamber, and how serious that is, so, and I don't necessarily mean financially. It's just more of the fact that I'm working a lot of hours right now just trying to keep up with the different types of members and what they do and what they want from us. And so the diversity of the different types of members was surprising to me. I also thought that it would be relatively I guess one of the good things about it is the fact that when you talk about a chamber of commerce, people generally know what that means. When I talked about Batavia Access Television, I had to kind of skirt around the fact that we weren't Wayne's World. There was just the perception of what a community television station was. So it was a hard sell. It was a challenge. The chamber, some people just come to you. A new business opens up doors, and they hear about the chamber, and they call you and say, I'd like to become a member. Is it okay? What kind of stuff do I have to prove to you? You know what I mean? Like, would you accept me? And to me, that's really refreshing.
Yeah. Is there any reason why you wouldn't take someone as a member?
No. There are... I do have I have veto power and some ethical choices that I can make, but in general, there's nothing that has come across my desk yet, or that are members now, that I would not support.
Right. There's probably some legislation on the books that would not allow businesses like that to open, to where you would actually feel like you need to veto them.
Exactly. But there are things that I would imagine would. There's some businesses in St. Charles that just went out, that I think if they would have wanted to be a member, I don't know if I would have been able to accept them. But, we provide service to just about every type of business out there, small to large, new and old. So there isn't much that gets in the way of that.
Okay. We've got just a minute here, so let's should we recap as far as some of the events? We didn't talk much about the golf outing. Should we slip something in there about
I
golf?
would love to. I have, this is the Neighbors publication that's about to come out, the May-June issue of it. On page 25, we have our complete flyer for our upcoming 40th Annual Chamber Golf Classic. It is Monday, June 2nd at Eagle Brook, so a day of golf and fun. We're live auctioning some great items. We talked a little bit about the Kane County Cougars. They're going to be bringing us some pretty awesome gifts. Advanced Disposal is bringing us you never think of this as being something, trash cans, but they have a Bears-inspired rolling trash receptacle that they're going to be bringing to us, and a breast cancer awareness one. So we're hoping to get some top dollar on those. And we also have a Montego Bay Villa getaway that we are going to be live auctioning. So, and every registrant for the golf outing gets a Callaway hat. So we're, kind of changing things up a little bit this year. But again, 1 o'clock shotgun start at Eagle Brook on Monday, June 2nd. Early bird registration is good through May 16th, so register now.
Excellent. And you can find more information on that and everything else that we talked about regarding the Batavia Chamber at their website, which is www.bataviachamber.org.
Yep, and another thing I just want to throw in there is our Legislative Affairs Luncheon. We do have Congressman Randy Holkern coming in on the 15th of this month. He's going to give us a kind of an outlook on the state of the state. He's the congressman for the 14th District in Illinois. So it will be a luncheon at the Lincoln Inn and Banquets in Batavia. So we're really excited about that, and that's at 11:30. So register for that, again, on our website. There's a calendar there where you can register. And the 21st, we talked about our Funway Classic. So we'll be doing a network event, and I will be trying to bowl well.
And you will win.
Come and challenge me.
At all costs.
That's right. Maybe I'll just bring my own pins, and I'll, I need to bowl on this lane.
With these pins.
With these pins.
I think that would be a little suspicious.
Nah.
Yeah.
Bob would do it for me.
It's fixed.
Yep.
All right. Holly, anything else that we need to I mean, it's amazing that our time is up already.
Well, Jaime, thank you so much for inviting me. Kind of a chance encounter that we ran into each other again at the Peg Bond Center during the Easter egg hunt and hop that Main Street had coordinated, and really appreciate you're inviting me and thinking of me as being a co-host with you today.
Well, you know what? Anytime that we need to sit down and get an update out there, I would be happy to help you out.
Awesome.
Excellent. All right, so that is Holly Deitchman, Executive Director of the Batavia Chamber of Commerce. Check her out at bataviachamber.org, also on Facebook and probably Twitter and all that other stuff too, right?
Yeah.
Or haven't you got that far?
Oh, yeah. We're on it.
All right, and thank you to our listeners and viewers for tuning in again. If you've got any suggestions on who you would like to see on the show, please make sure you send them to me. You can find me on also Facebook and Twitter, and you can find my extremely out-of-date website at foxvalleyvoice.com.
We can hook you up with a local service provider that could help you.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I might need one. But most importantly, you should probably like us on Facebook and then subscribe to us on YouTube. That's the best way to keep up to date with us. We'd like to thank some friends of the show, also Batavia Chamber members, I believe, Drendel and Jansen's Law Group.
Love.
They have provided video services for us. And also we would like to thank Downtown Auroran Magazine. You can find them at pretty much all your local places, especially Limestone.
Yes.
In Batavia. We'd also like to thank Bureau Gravity, a holistic marketing agency in downtown Aurora, bringing story to market. You can find them at bureaugravity.com. And we will be back next week. I'm completely unprepared to tell you when or who is our next co-host. If you, Holly, can you just stall for me for a second?
Of course.
Tell something to
So I'm going to tell a little story. So we're in the awesome studios of Fox Valley Voice, and there is a sombrero here, so I'm going to put, he said that everybody threatens to put it on.
That's right. No one has actually ever put on the sombrero. There it is, ladies
There it
and
is.
gentlemen.
So you can no longer say that nobody put it on.
That's amazing. In fact, from now on, we're going to call it the Holly Deitchman sombrero.
It is. Doesn't sound very.
No, we're going to have to come up with a better
better
title
we should
for
put
it.
guacamole in here.
We could put your picture on it.
Oh.
All right, this is
We want
going
people
south
to actually put it on.
quickly. All right, so I do have some information here. So next Thursday, which is May 15th, we are scheduled to have Julie Ferris on the show.
Ooh.
She is
You going to talk about art in your eye?
She's going to talk about a lot of things. Awesome. She's going to talk about Art in Your Eye, which happens in downtown Batavia. Mm-hmm. She's going to talk about Riverfest, which happens up in St. Charles. Mm-hmm. She's going to talk about something called Firing Up the Fox, which is a barbecue competition. I think I'm going to try to weasel my way in.
Do you think I can be a judge for that?
Me too. You and me,
Loyalty
right?
Day. I mean, I have credentials.
I'll let her know that you're interested.
I am.
I'll see what I can do for you.
Thank you.
So anyway, that's next Thursday, May 15th at 10 o'clock in the morning. So we will talk to you then. Be good. Oh, we totally outlasted our exit music because that took too long. All right. There. That was the longest outro ever. Hold on. We still got to end the show. Okay. Bye-bye.